my daughter Takia. She's going to be sharing with you today her end time dream. But before we do that, we want you to watch a video that we recorded regarding the U.S. Marines. Why they are not allowing the Marines to carry their weapons. Okay, so stay tuned.
Pressure, the White House has now ordered that the flags of the United States be flown at half-staff at all public, military, and naval grounds in honor of the 5 service members killed in what is being investigated as a terrorist attack last week in Chattanooga. It took 5 days for the president to act, with critics pointing out that is about 5 times longer than after the murders in Newtown, Connecticut, and the Boston Marathon bombings, and noting that it only took hours for the administration to light up the White House like a rainbow in tribute to the Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage. This morning, the president addressed veterans in Pittsburgh, once again declining to call this terrorism, but acknowledging that Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have encouraged attacks on American service members. He promised he would do what he can to keep our military safe. Our next guest isn't betting on it. For the past 2 days, Clayton Waits has been standing guard in front of a military recruiting center in Lancaster, Ohio. Clayton, thank you for being here. Why did you feel it was important to do this?
Thank you for having me. I felt like it was important to do this because, to me, it's obvious that the people in our government who have the power to make change are not willing to do what's necessary to protect the men and women who sacrifice their life to make sure we have freedom and liberty here in the States.
Do you appreciate the irony of you, a citizen, standing outside of a military recruiting center, you know, where Marines are inside, they can't have guns, but you can?
Oh, yeah. Many times people walked up to me and said, "Do you have a permit for that?" And I told them, no, this is 100% legal. I'm open carrying these weapons. However, the men and women who are trained, disciplined, and prepared to use these weapons to defend themselves and others are not allowed to have weapons.
What do you make of the fact the White House has said, when asked, are you going to do anything? Are you going to let them, change the policy? This is a law that was signed into law by President H.W. Bush, George H.W. Are you going to try to reverse it? They say, oh, talk to the Pentagon. The Pentagon says the policies are under review. Do you have faith in the process?
Obviously, the process, as we have been talking about for so many years, is failing miserably. I believe that the best approach would be 2-part. In the interim, immediately have Governor Kasich sign an executive order that authorizes the National Guard to protect the recruitment centers. And also, ultimately, would be to get the law changed so the men and women who are in the recruitment centers can themselves be armed, or at minimum have a safe or an armory on the premise where they can get access to weapons if the situation arises where they do need to defend themselves or others.
Are you scared when you're out there?
No, I'm not scared. People walk up to me and they say, oh, you're so brave and courageous, and to me that is it's confusing because I don't understand why they think that what I'm doing is so courageous or important. I understand it's important because these men and women give their life and freedom so we can have freedom. I feel like everybody should be doing this. Why is my actions viewed as abnormal when a situation like what happened in Tennessee could happen anywhere? I'm sure that the people in Tennessee didn't wake up and think, oh, there's going to be a terrorist attack today. People don't think that, and that's what complacency gets us. It gets us killed.
Clayton, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we're back, and now she's going to share her dream with you. Okay, so before I share my dream with you guys, I just want to let you know how it connects to this whole military thing that's been going on with them and not allowing the Marines to use their weapons and stuff like, and not allowing them to put on their attire, their military attire and stuff.
Right.
And the way that connects to my dream is because it's just another way for the government to take away our freedom. They take it away bit by bit, piece by piece. It almost
slowly but surely.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of how like all the Walmarts have been closed down and they've been doing construction and people don't know what's going on. It's just like, what are they doing behind the scenes? So
what's really going on?
Yeah, exactly. What's really going on? So I had a dream a couple of weeks ago, and in the dream, my family and I had to go to this government facility, and it wasn't just my family. It was like a lot of families had to gather in this facility, and it's kind of like so we could have shelter because something happened, and we didn't know exactly what happened, but everyone was pretty suspicious. Like whatever happened, it didn't allow us to live in our homes for a small time.
So whatever happened, it caused these families, a large amount of families, to come to a government facility.
Yeah, for shelter.
Okay.
And we weren't sure we weren't sure how it happened, but whatever it ended up happening, we just knew that the government had to do something with it. Like it didn't just happen by itself. So while we were there, we were going to the cafeteria, And they had all the families go to the cafeteria, but in the dream, I went to the bathroom, and when I came back from the bathroom, I was in the hallway approaching the cafeteria, and I saw like them giving, like, some of the heads of that facility were giving people these like gumballs. They're like these white gumballs like that, and they were white, and they're saying, take these, it's going to help you with like oxygen and your health and just, keeping you strong while you're here and stuff. But then, like, as I was approaching, because I was still in the hallway, as I was approaching my family, like, once everyone kind of, like, they put it, like, mixed it in their food somehow, and once they ate it, like, it's like all their free will was kind of gone, like, totally just gone. Like, it was like,
Right.
they were still living and breathing, but it's just kind of like, you put your hand in front of them, and they're just, totally blank in their mind. It's like, they're very susceptible to suggestion. So it's kind of like, it was some type of mind control
Almost
thing.
robotic. They were just
almost
being
robotic.
controlled.
Yeah, and if you see the movie Divergent, it's like identical to that. So if you watch that movie, then you'll know exactly what I mean. And if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So then after that, like, the guy came up to me, he's like, you need to take this, it's going to help you, la la la. And I'm like, okay, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm definitely not taking this. So I pretended to put it in my food, but I actually put it inside of my purse so that I could bring it to someone to, like, figure out how to help stop this.
Okay, so let's just go over this really quick. So what you're saying is there was some big event that caused a lot of families to come to this location for shelter. When the people was at the shelter, they started giving out these candy-like gumballs that was allowing people to be controlled by government officials.
Yeah.
Okay.
It made them susceptible to suggestion. So I didn't take it, but I pretended to, and I acted the way that they would, like, that someone would take that. I acted the same way that they would. I pretended that, I just didn't know what was going on, but, in my mind, I really knew. So, I'm sitting there looking at my family members like, oh my gosh, like, what's wrong with them? But I knew, like, I knew what it was, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know why would they even do this? So, after everyone came from the cafeteria, these doctors came inside, and they took a few families. They took about 4 families, including mine. But they didn't take me for some reason. So I was left there, and I had to stay in that facility, and they took my family. But I went into, like, the office where the leaders of this, government system were. They wanted me to be in the office with them for some reason, and I wasn't sure why, but they didn't think that. They thought that I still took the pill, so they're, like, cool with me being there.
Right.
So I was listening into everything that they were saying. And then I realized, what they had done, they did it on purpose, obviously. And then after that, we ended up going to the same place that the doctors took my parents and my family. So when we got there, my parents and my family were like, I saw them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to, help you guys because I was thinking that they were still under that mind control. And they're like, oh no, we found an antidote. And I'm like, oh good. So and the doctor there, he ended up being a good guy, so he helped them, he gave them the antidote. And they said, we need to get back to the other facility that they were giving these, pills out, and we need to give these other families the antidote. Because they gave this to a lot of people, and they were trying to give it to more and more people. So I gave the good doctor the one that I had, so that he could figure out, how to stop it. But in the meantime,
what do you mean the one? So, okay, let's back up just to make sure that everybody understands. So there were officials that took about 3 to 4 families to another building. Okay, and then there were a few doctors, but there was one particular doctor that was a good doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, and the good doctor came with an antidote. Okay, by the time you got to the families, which was one of our families, or one of the families was us. We had already had the antidote.
Yeah.
Because the good doctor helped us.
And he brought us all to help and bring the antidote to the rest of the families back at the first facility.
The first facility.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was
the ending of the dream.
That was the ending of the dream. Just another dream, just showing us how this new world, one world order is trying to make everybody come together, be the same, be in one mind, be just controlled under their forces. But you know what? Again, like I say in just about all my videos, my dream videos, we need to pray, we need to be fasting, we need to be aware, and we need to ask the Lord to take control of this situation, because we don't want to be controlled. So, you know, I pray this video bless you guys. We're here to just bring the truth, to spread the truth, and to bring enlightenment to those that that are aware and want to know exactly what's going on. So let's stay prayerful, guys. Love you.